Chapter 3. Shadows and Songs. The neon glow from Betty's Big Country Dance Hall painted the parking lot in hues of red and gold, the hum of voices and laughter blending with the faint thrum of a country ballad spilling out into the night. Cody Steele moved through the crowd heading inside, his head low, hands deep in his jacket pockets. The night felt heavier than usual, and not just because of the pills rattling in his pocket. Inside, the dance hall was a blend of intimacy and nostalgia. Small tables crowded the stage, lit by the warm glow of overhead sconces. The walls told their own stories, adorned with pictures and autographs of country legends long gone. On stage, under the faint light of a soft spotlight, stood Leilani. Leilani. The name alone could stop him in his tracks. Her presence was magnetic, even as her shoulders bore the quiet weight of decades. Beside her, a man with salt and pepper hair strummed an acoustic guitar, their chemistry understated but undeniable. She approached the mic, her voice steady despite the emotion that lingered beneath. "This next song," she began, "is inspired by a relationship that spanned decades. It's about the pain of watching someone you love fade into darkness and realizing that sometimes the only way to help them is to let them face their battles alone. This is for anyone who's ever had to let go, even though their heart still holds on." Her words cut through the room like a slow-moving storm, and then she began to sing. Her voice, rich and sorrowful, wove through the air, carried by the gentle strum of the guitar. "You were the fire in the cold of night, a beacon in my darkest plight. But you chose your path where shadows fall. I can't save you, but I can stand tall." At his corner table, Cody slipped a hand into his jacket, his fingers finding the bottle of muscle relaxants. His hands shook slightly as he unscrewed the cap, the pills clinking against the plastic. He glanced around the room, his movements furtive, ensuring no one's attention was on him. Leilani's voice soared. "Lost in the shadows, you're calling my name. Fighting your battles, it's your own game." Cody tipped the bottle, letting a few pills fall into his palm. He stared at them, the song's lyrics pricking at something buried deep within him. "I'll be your shelter when you need a friend, but you must walk this road to the end." He popped the pills into his mouth and swallowed, the bitterness cutting through the lump in his throat. The effects came quickly, his focus hazing, the edges of the room softening. He tried to steady himself, but the music, Leilani's voice, pushed at the cracks in his resolve. "I see your face in the mirror's stare, a ghost of the man who used to care." Her eyes flicked toward him, catching his slight stumble. She didn't falter in her song, but there was a shift, a quiet acknowledgement, a subtle ache mirrored in her expression. Cody tried to rise but swayed, his body betraying him. A few patrons turned their heads, their murmurs rising as Cody stumbled out of the bar, the melody following him like an unwelcome specter. The back of the bar was cool and quiet, a stark contrast to the warm chaos inside. Leilani stepped out with the man who had accompanied her on stage. She paused, taking a deep breath of the crisp night air. It steadied her, until she heard the uneven shuffle of footsteps behind her. "Leilani, wait!" She turned to see Cody stumbling toward her. His silhouette under the neon glow was a mixture of desperation and weariness. She froze, her expression a blend of love and exasperation. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice frayed. Her eyes narrowed. "Are you drunk and high again?" Cody hesitated, the shame creeping into his features. "Is it that obvious? Can we just talk, please?" Leilani's resolve was steel. "I'm not interested in rehashing old problems or getting pulled back onto your merry-go-round." Cody shifted, his weight uneven, his eyes searching hers. "I liked your set," he offered, a faint, hollow attempt at a bridge. She tilted her head, skeptical. "What do you really want, Cody?" His gaze dropped to the pavement. "Can I borrow some money?" The disappointment that flashed across her face cut deeper than any words. She sighed, reaching into her bag. "No, Cody, I think it's time for me to go." But then she paused, pulled out two $20 bills, and pressed them into his hand. Her fingers lingered for just a moment longer than necessary. "This is it, Cody. The last time ever. If you want to be low rent, do it far away from me." He nodded, his head hanging low. "Okay." I'll stay away. The man beside Leilani stepped forward, his presence quiet but firm. He gave Cody a single nod, a gesture of acknowledgement and pity. Leilani's voice softened, her tone a plea. You were a good man once, Cody. Please, please be him again. For a lot of reasons you can't outrun. Without another word, she and the man turned and walked into the night, their figures fading into the shadows. Cody stood there clutching the money, his hand trembling. The ache in his chest wasn't from the pills or the whiskey. It was something deeper, something he wasn't sure he could fix. He watched until they disappeared, and then he turned back toward the parking lot, the weight of her words pressing down on him like an unbearable truth.